Hello and welcome back to the 11th lesson of the Year 2 Theory and Methods section of this online series. Given the huge gap between Lesson 10 and Lesson 11, I'm going to remind you of the outline of this section of the specification, some of the key concepts that you should be familiar with, and where to find them if you're not. If you're already familiar with the material I cover in this particular video, then please feel free to just watch the overview. If not, then please make a note of these main ideas. Press pause as you add this as your title for this section on paper or a computer. That is Theory and Methods Recap. I'm going to start with a recap of the main ideas associated with sociological theory and methods. To recap, theory and methods is directly assessed on 2 of your 3 exams in A-level sociology. Theory and methods specification is examined as a 10-mark question on paper 1 and again on paper 3 as a 10-mark question that takes exactly the same form as it has done on paper 1 and also as a 20-mark question. That means that theory and methods accounts for 30 of the 80 marks available on A-level sociology paper 3. In the exam, therefore, the command words for question 6 on paper 1 and question 5 on paper 3, as you can see here, are exactly the same. And we know that the question will come from the specification, as seen here, and this was the main Year 1 methods focused. We looked at the content related to sociological research methods. Similarly here, but here we see the main content for what we refer to as Year 2 theory and methods from the specification. In the summer, we looked at consensus, conflict and structural theories from the top bullet point. Therefore, you need to be familiar with this before we can go on to look at the social action theories to complete the bullet point, and then complete each of the other bullet points in turn. Hence, from the first bullet point of the specification, you could be asked a question such as this from the 2018 paper. Outline and explain 2 problems of using the functionalist perspective to study today's society. Here, the question is about theory in general. You do not need to link this to a specific topic, although you can if it helps you to develop a criticism. In other words, for this theory and methods section, you are required to have a general understanding of the theory. That understanding may include, but is not restricted to topic areas such as families, education and crime. On paper 3, your theory and methods knowledge will also be examined via a 20-mark question. Again, this could be anything from the theory and methods specification, meaning that you could be asked to evaluate the usefulness of a specific method, or you could be asked to evaluate a specific sociological theory, such as this one here. Please note that as with the 10-mark theory and methods question, this question is asking about the usefulness of an approach in general terms, meaning that you can refer to your general knowledge of the theory as well as making specific applications to topic areas such as families, education and crime. You might also have noted that this is a 20-mark question, hence it requires an essay response, meaning that you need to look at the view in the question and the support for that, but also the counter view. So question 6 will always start with the command word shown above. And you may be required to evaluate any of these theories, and these are the sorts of words that could feasibly appear in the black boxes next to the question above. That is why we needed to have a look at each of these theories in preparation for these exam questions. You need to know how the theories have attempted to explain society, how they have been used, how they relate to each other, and how they have been criticised. From your work in the previous 10 online lessons, you should be familiar with the ideas, theories, and concepts related to the structuralist theories. In the summer term, online lessons 1 and 2 introduced theory. It looked at the difference between structuralist and action theories. You should be able to define each of these key concepts related to sociological theory, and they should be written in your notes. Test yourself on these now. Press pause as you rehearse your definitions of these key ideas. You can check your answers, or if you couldn't remember them, then you can find them by going back to lessons 1 and 2. In the summer term, online lessons 3, 4 and 5 focused on functionalist theory in more detail, including those really important direct criticisms. Lesson 6 was all about a perspective that isn't a sociological perspective as such, but is one that has had a big influence on it, in particular social policy. As a reminder then, please see Lesson 6 to recap on the main ideas of the New Right. Lessons 7 and 8 were focused on the key principles of Marxism, and Lesson 9 looked at neo-Marxism. Alongside this lesson, you'll also see the link to the Google site with access for more information about each of these theories. Lesson 10 looked at feminism and the various strands of this theory. Again, please see the videos on feminism and read around this on Google Sites so that you're familiar with the main points of all of these broadly termed structuralist sociological theories. This means that we can go on to have a look at the action theories. To help familiarise yourselves with these terms, please see the related activity in Classroom that takes you to a Quizlet allowing you the opportunity to test your knowledge of 19 terms that are related to sociological theory.